Hello, my name's Alun Davies, and I'm the author of Ar Lwybr Dial, or The Pursuit of Vengeance. In this video, I'll be giving you a brief overview of the book before doing a short reading in Welsh, followed by a longer reading of the English translation. The Pursuit of Vengeance is the second book in a trilogy of dark, gripping crime novels set in Aberystwyth, which, for those that don't know, is a town in West Wales, following the trials and tribulations of the trilogy's main character, Detective Taliesin Macleavy. So the novel begins with the gruesome discovery of two mutilated bodies at a house in a seaside village just outside Aberystwyth. Detective Macleavy is assigned to the case along with his new partner, Detective Siwan Matthews, an experienced investigator who's only recently returned from an extended period of maternity leave. It transpires that the murder victims are husband and wife, and as Macleavy and Matthews dig into their background, they reveal some dark and disturbing family secrets, which lead them on to uncover several other murders as they race to stop the killer. The novel has quite a unique structure in that it is narrated in the first person but by three separate narrators: the two detectives, Macleavy and Matthews, and the murderer, ex-social worker Cynan Bold. This means that because the reader sees the murder scene not only through the detective's eyes, but also through the murderer's, this isn't a traditional whodunit, but more of a how and why done it. How is Cynan Bold choosing his victims? Why dispatch them in such terrible, dramatic ways? And maybe most intriguingly of all, why does he begin to reach out to Taliesin Macleavy, the very person who's trying to catch him? The chapters in The Pursuit of Vengeance are often short, sometimes only a few sentences, which lends the story pace and urgency, keeping the reader gripped. And the novel is peppered with dark humour and moments of vulnerability and introspection. This book has been called a novel that's worth losing sleep over. And I'll now read a short excerpt from the book in Welsh before moving on to the English translation. Mae'n edrych fel petai hi am fod yn ddiwrnod braf. Yr hydref yn arafeildio i'r gaeaf, y dail brown yn drwch ar y palmant. Gobeithio fedrai gael gwared ar y syched yma. Am eiliad, dwi'n ystyried cael rym bach i fy helpu i ddechrau'r diwrnod, ond yn gwythio'r syniad o'n meddwl i'n syth. Cerddaf i'r stafell molchi a dechrau'r gawod. Dwi'n aros yna am hanner munud am mwy, yn gwylio'r dŵr yn disgyn a'r stêm yn dechrau cymylu'r drych. Ac yna, ag o'chenaid, dwi'n cerdded i'r gegin ac yn estyn y botel rym o'r cwpwrdd. As I walk through the kitchen towards the back door, my eyes are drawn to a biscuit tin, fashioned from ceramic to look like a pineapple, sitting on the worktop. Pausing, I lift the pointed leaves of the lid. At the bottom of the tin lies a single custard cream on a handful of crumbs. I grimace. I've never liked custard creams. The house stands silent apart from the deep, constant tick of the grandfather clock in the hall. Next to the clock is a hat stand with a metal walking stick leaning against it. The grandfather clock is too big for the cramped little hall, and the hall stand is almost buried under the many pairs of tired-looking shoes that have been haphazardly deposited there, one on top of the other. Replacing the lid on the biscuit tin and leaving the custard cream untouched, I walk into the hall and gaze at the framed photographs covering the wall. Most of them are school photographs featuring four children, 3 girls and a boy. But the focal points are the 2 larger photographs, each showing a different couple on their wedding days. Feeling something crunching beneath my feet, I look down to see several shards of glass. A shattered picture frame lies on the carpet, and I find the gap on the wall where it used to hang. I stare at it unblinkingly for a moment, before turning back towards the kitchen but as I do so, my eyes are drawn to the scene in the dining room. It's saturated with blood. The old couple are sitting in their chairs by the dining table, just as I left them. Their heads are tipped backwards, eyes staring at the ceiling, and the throats slit wide open. The torrents of blood have slowed to a trickle now, and what little remains in their bodies drips out slowly, forming pools at their feet before slowly seeping into the pale carpet. The scene is more slaughterhouse than dining room. I cock my head to the side and spend a long time studying every detail of the room before slowly walking back to the kitchen. Everything is as it should be. Turning, I reach for the pineapple and take the last custard cream, stuffing it whole into my mouth. It's as disappointing as I expected it to be. As I reach for the handle, I notice the back door is in need of repair, and it squeals noisily as I open it. I step outside, and as the door closes, it emits another loud, painful wail into the darkness. Waking suddenly from a deep sleep, I touch my head, and I feel my hair soaked with perspiration. The images from the dream still fill my mind. The isolated cottage, the body, the dark red blood covering the floor. My skin's damp, and I force myself to remember that the wetness is sweat, not blood. Lying back down in the darkness, I reach out to the bedside table, feeling along its surface, until I come across the heavy coldness of my glass of water. I feel thirsty, a thirst which starts at the tip of my tongue and extends all the way down my throat. The painful, familiar thirst which follows a night's heavy drinking. My fingers close round the glass, but as I lift it to my lips, I suddenly pause. Did I pour this water before going to bed last night? Or is it stale water? Water which has been stagnating on the bedside table for days. Memories of last night are shrouded in a thick, alcohol-infused cloud. I can recall opening a bottle of wine and sitting on the sofa, trying to concentrate on an old detective film. Then later drinking a third, fourth rum and black as I watch the news, the film already forgotten. But I can't remember pouring a glass of water before going to bed. For that matter, I can't even remember going to bed. Trying to dismiss the thought from my mind, I put the glass to my lips, needing to drink, but the damage has been done. In my mind's eye, I can see the glass standing on the bedside table for days, a mixture of fly droppings, dead skin cells, and other detritus accumulating on the surface before sinking into the liquid. I cannot bear the idea of drinking stale water.